Hello, this is Dr. Michael Arnheim here again with my colleague Bernard Bear. Hello! And of course Jaguar. Hello. And this is number 6 in the Bear With Me video series. This time I want to talk about black coffee. Do you like black coffee, Bernard? No. Why not? Like milk, honey. You like honey in your coffee? Yes. Well, I don't know if viewers have tried honey in their coffee, but I'm sure many of you have tried milk in your coffee. But did you know that black coffee is prohibited? Really? Well, Bernard doesn't like black coffee, but that's not the reason it's prohibited. The reason it's prohibited in certain quarters is because it's supposedly politically incorrect. I couldn't believe this until I was riding in a taxi and my taxi driver told me that he is also a firefighter and that when he ordered black coffee in his canteen, he was told that was not the correct way to order. He should not do so. Black coffee is considered racist, the term black coffee. I couldn't believe it. I thought he was joking. But I looked it up online and I find that a cafe proprietor in Southend-on-Sea was visited by officials from the council who told him that he was not to advertise black coffee, or for that matter, white coffee either. He lightheartedly asked whether his sachets of brown sugar could be advertised as such and was in deadly earnest told probably safest not to. This is unfortunately an extreme development of political correctness which we have seen taking over in so many areas, and what it means in particular in this area, as in others, is a curb on freedom of speech. Free speech is curbed. There are so many examples of it. Initially, yes, it was a bit of a joke because you would be told that you could not say that somebody was short. You would have to say that person was vertically challenged. Somebody was stupid. You couldn't say that. You had to say they were intellectually challenged. To say that someone was able-bodied was also no good because that was an insult to people who were disabled. So the term has sometimes been used non-disabled, strangely enough. A lot of people still regard these things as a joke, but they are not really that funny any longer. Universities in America and even in Britain have started telling their students and academic staff as well to use gender-neutral pronouns. There's a whole selection of them. Z seems to be the favoured one, Z-E, her, H-E-R. There are a whole number of others. And so if somebody wishes to refer to themselves, not as he or she, but as one of these funny pronouns, then you must respect their wishes and you must call them by that pronoun as well. A professor in Toronto, Canada, Jordan Peterson, came out openly and said he would not do that. He was not prepared to use these gender-neutral pronouns, and he found the door of his office glued shut and put under a lot of pressure, even possibly the threat of losing his job. I don't think the university has exactly threatened that, but it seemed to be in the air. This is all part of political correctness. But what is political correctness ultimately? It's actually about privilege. It's supposed to be about non-discrimination. Therefore, you mustn't discriminate against people, especially those who have been discriminated against in the past. Fine. And therefore, it's supposedly about equal rights. Actually, it's not. It's about privilege, which is the exact opposite of equal rights. Special privilege. This was pointed out very, very well by Anne Widdecombe, that brave, very hard-headed politician who got into Parliament on her own merits and who has come out against women-only shortlists. Because, as she says, women-only shortlists are not about equal rights, they're about special privileges. She said the suffragettes of 100 years ago would have thrown themselves under the king's horse, as one of course did, rather than support special privileges. They were only after equality, equal voting rights. They were not after special privileges. But this is a quota system. Anything with a quota is privilege. It's privilege for those on the one side, and it's discrimination, prejudice, and discrimination on the other side. Clarence Thomas, Justice Clarence Thomas, the only black Supreme Court justice in the United States, on the United States Supreme Court, has a discount sticker, 15-cent discount sticker stuck on his degree certificate, his diploma, from Yale, because he says that's all it's worth. Because the reason he got into Yale was not on merit, but because he was black. It was part of affirmative action, part of special privilege that was accorded to him because he was black, and that affirmative action is prejudice, it's discrimination. He happened to benefit from it, but he's also fair-minded enough to recognize that it is prejudicial and should not have been done. But this is what is happening, unfortunately, that it is privilege and not equal rights. To go back to the women-only shortlists, what does that amount to? Well, it amounts to preventing men from competing for particular seats, allowing only women to compete for the nomination of a particular party, like the Labour Party, which does use it. It was actually declared illegal by an employment tribunal when it was first tried, but then, under the influence of feminists in Parliament, a special act of Parliament was passed to legalise women-only shortlists. Although it's got a certain deadline, it will not carry on indefinitely, supposedly, but for the time being it's there. And it also means that it's discriminatory, it's prejudicial against voters, because voters are not given a genuine choice. If they would have preferred a male candidate, they can't have one in that particular seat if they support that particular party. The party can only choose from among women for that particular seat. It's quite worrying. Freedom of speech is curtailed in many ways by political correctness. For example, the well-known gay wedding cake case, where Christian bakers in Belfast were asked to bake a cake with the icing exhorting everyone to support gay marriage. That's what the icing says, support gay marriage. Well, it doesn't say that because the Christian bakery refused to make that cake. The customer went elsewhere and had the cake made, though. But then the Christian bakers were taken to court for discrimination. They were found guilty of discriminating, not in a criminal case, but a civil matter, discrimination against the prospective gay customer. But what that means is they lost their freedom of speech because they're not allowed to say, we don't agree with this. The reason they refused to make that cake was because it was against their religious scruples. They said, we don't agree with gay marriage because we think it's sinful. In actual fact, it's not even legal in Northern Ireland. So their freedom of religion, which one may agree with or not, was taken away from them. Their freedom of speech was denied them, and also their freedom as a business to accept or reject any customer's order. As a business, normally you can accept an order or reject it. Here, they've been told by the court they had to accept that order. Freedom of speech is under serious threat from political correctness. It is time that something was done about it. And unfortunately, it's only getting worse and worse.